You've been told your whole life that self-awareness is the answer. Know yourself, understand your emotions, examine your patterns. But what if I told you that for many people, too much self-awareness doesn't lead to peace, it leads to paralysis? Psychologists call this the self-absorption paradox. It's been documented in research for decades. Here's the problem. Self-awareness can pull you in two completely opposite directions. On one hand, people who reflect on themselves tend to have greater self-knowledge and make better decisions. On the other hand, those same people often report higher levels of anxiety, depression, and psychological distress. Same behavior, opposite outcomes. So what's actually happening here? In 1999, psychologists Paul Trapnell and Jennifer Campbell discovered something crucial. They found that what we call self-awareness is actually two completely different processes. The first is reflection, a curious, open exploration of who you are. This type actually does improve well-being, but the second is rumination, an anxious, repetitive dwelling on your flaws and failures. This is where self-awareness becomes dangerous. Rumination keeps you trapped in endless mental loops. You're just replaying them, over and over until they define you. The cruel irony, the more you ruminate, the more self-aware you feel. But you're not gaining insight, you're drowning in self-criticism. There's another problem with excessive self-awareness. It's called the Centipede effect, described by psychologist George Humphrey in 1923. The idea comes from a poem about a centipede who walked perfectly until someone asked him how he coordinated all those legs. The moment he tried to consciously think about it, he couldn't move at all. When you become too aware of things you normally do automatically, you disrupt them. Athletes call this choking. The golfer who thinks too hard about their swing, the musician who suddenly can't play the piece they performed 1,000 times. Sometimes the answer isn't more awareness. It's trusting the parts of yourself that already know what to do. So what's the solution? It's not to abandon self-awareness. It's to be aware of how you're being aware. Ask yourself, am I exploring or am I attacking myself? Am I curious or am I stuck in a loop? The goal isn't perfect self-knowledge. It's knowing yourself well enough to actually live your life. And sometimes that means thinking a little less and just moving forward.